I felt my deceased brother's heart attack. He took me to the healing centers of heaven. And that's when I realized God has a contingency plan for our souls. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A year ago, I had a near-death life experience, and ever since then, I could pick up on energies and I could even hear from God itself. I was told it would take me 14,422 lifetimes for my soul's journey to be completed. So I decided to start a social media platform so I can help more people, speed this thing on up, and finally get the heck up off this planet. Tired. Ready to go. Been walking for over 14,000 lifetimes. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Instructions for Humanity. It is your girl, your spiritual teacher, Tahirah, where I teach the divine message I received, that we are all one in love. Grow with me, guys. Love with me. It's going to be a great ride. Okay, guys, click on that subscribe button. You do not want to miss any of the future videos, because it is about to get deep. I told you I am a deep diver, and we are about to go in on it in spirit world. So please click on the subscribe button, like, and all of that good stuff. Guys, this is a very, very special episode. I have been in communication with my deceased brother. He passed away a few years ago, and we have had several transmissions. He's the reason why I'm sitting here teaching now. He gave me the confidence that yes, you can hear from spirit, and that's why I'm here. So I just want to humbly thank you to my brother, Sylvester Golden. And on the tape, I'm going to play a little bit of one of our transmissions. I refer to him as Booty because that was his nickname growing up. So when I talk of Booty, I am still talking about my brother, Sylvester Golden. Guys, we're going to get into a lot of different things that we have not touched upon. We're going to talk about the oversoul, a little bit more about our higher self. We're going to talk about the healing center of heaven. Right? That's what he showed me. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about having unforgiveness in the heart area. We're going to talk about karmic debt and karmic lives. Okay. There is a lot to unpack here, so I'm going to jump right into it. But first, I do want to tell you this. My brother went into the hospital with COVID, right? And we all thought he was going to make it out, and even he did himself. He thought he was going to make it out. We were in direct communication with him every day. And then all of a sudden the phone calls stopped coming. And that ultimately is what led to the heart attack he had. That is what led to him taking his last breath. And guys, I felt that heart attack. You know, I'm an empath, right? So right before this last transmission that we had, that I'm going to play, I was laying on my bed, and all of a sudden, it's one thing to say, I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack, but no, I want to let you guys know that I was having a heart attack. I felt exactly how it felt to have a heart attack. I was feeling his pain. I was feeling him taking his last breath. Yes. And guys, I don't wish this on anyone. It was a horrible feeling. There was nothing you could do. Your whole body is numb. You can't move. There is a stiffness and a tightness in the heart that I can't even describe. It's like somebody put you under a building, and the building is laying right on your chest. You can't do anything. You're just suffocating in the heart area. Guys, it's not a pleasant feeling, but I'm happy that I was able to share that with my brother and really empathize and really feel the pain in his heart and what he went through. But guys, I thought I was dying. I thought I was gone. I honestly did. So he allowed me to feel that, and I just want to say that before we get into this, because that will be, very important. Okay, so let me just go ahead. I'm going to play a snippet because this went on for 20 minutes, guys. And the reason why it was so long was because there was something he was showing me. I got to see him going from the healing center to the gates of heaven. And he was floating for a very long time. And it took 20 minutes. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play little snippets of the beginning, middle, and the end for us. So this was me channeling the spirit of my brother, and then we are going to talk about it after, okay? Let's get into it. All right.
The healing has taken place. I see him floating. I see him with his hands out. I see him empty in the heart area. It has been cleared. It has been cleaned. There's light now, floating through from the back of him, coming out the center of the chest. It is the light that has propelled him into the heavenly sphere. He's going higher, higher, higher. Higher, higher, higher. Lighter. He's becoming lighter. He's clear. He's clean. He is love. He's floating higher and higher and higher and higher. He has on tennis shoes, like Nike shoes, baggy jeans, like a white t-shirt, and like a jacket that has buttons on it. It's like a light-weighted jacket that has buttons on it. It's Jordan, 23. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing 23 on the back of it with some red and white and black colors, some stripes going down the arms. Yeah. And he's out of the healing center. He's out. His heart has been purified. It's been cleansed. He's floating. He's floating up, 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 up. He has a little gold chain on too.
Okay. So that was just the first snippet. Okay. Let me go ahead and cue up the next one so we can go ahead and continue. Right, here we go.
He has arrived. The gates they're smaller than what I thought they would be, but he's already in. It's like they didn't even have to open it. It's like as soon as he landed, the gates he was already on the other side, as if he's already been there. He's being welcomed. He's composed, quite composed. He's being welcomed. He's not dancing or anything. He's happy. He's shaking hands. I'm just seeing spirits. They're all just like white and clear. There's no particular face that's standing out. He's shaking hands. Just a lot of people coming to welcome him. Yeah. He's smiling really big now. He has very white, perfect teeth. He's smiling really big. Completeness. Completeness and love. He tells me. T, I never knew it would be like this. I I didn't honestly think that I could see it. I didn't think it was in the cards for me to see. I'm happy, I'm prosperous, I'm content, I'm at peace, I'm in love, encased in love, fueled by love, by the spirit of love.
That's beautiful. Okay, let's go ahead and play the other transmission and then we'll talk about it.
You belong there. You do. I got a sense that he feels like he doesn't deserve it. You are enough. You are enough.
Okay. Guys, I know that was a bit choppy, but I'm going to go ahead and explain everything to you. Like I said, I mean, this is my brother. You know, we grew up together. He's like 13 years older than me, but this is my big brother. I used to ride on his back. Actually, in one of our transmissions, he was like, I remember you used to ride on my back like I was a horse, and I would, I would just ride you around like on my back. And that was just so sweet that his soul remembered that. Like it's the little things that our soul remembers. And that was really sweet. So, just bear with me because this one is a hard one to do. So the first thing I want to say is, my brother was a kind of man that people didn't think was a man, okay? They thought that he acted younger, that he acted maybe childish, that he was still stuck in his childlike ways. That is how my spirit is, right? When you're young at heart, sometimes you can pick up other attributes, right? And it might come off as being behind, but it's not. So what I'm going to share here is kind of a two-part thing. I'm going to share with you the journey of him as Sylvester Golden, as the childish spirit that was Sylvester Golden, right? And then I'm going to share with you what I saw of him, his oversoul, his higher self, that was complete opposite. And this will just show you the range of the spirit, the range of our soul. And it is really beautiful that we have the capability to be all things. Okay, the first thing I want to say is, the first transmission I had with my brother, it was not a pleasant one. It was not, because he showed me where he was. And at first, I was like, he didn't make it. He didn't make it into the gates of heaven. He didn't make it. But he showed me something more important. What he showed me made me realize that God has a contingency plan for our souls. God has already thought about all this stuff, guys. He knows that you're going to get beat and bruised and you're going to have wounds and scars on your soul. And so he created something called a healing center. And that is where my brother is. And I'm going to describe it to you. So this actually came about in a dream. I was walking through a place and it looked like a neighborhood where he lived, right? Before he passed away. But the grass was so immaculate and perfect. The grass was like 4 feet tall, and each blade of grass was so perfect, almost as if the grass was alive itself. And that's when I knew, and I saw someone caring for the grass. That's when I knew I was in heaven, because this is not, you cannot get this type of grass and have someone care for each blade of grass the way that they did if I was not in heaven. So when I arrived at his house, he had a caretaker that carried him down. He was so fragile. He was so frail and fragile and broken, right? Broken from the life of Sylvester Golden. But the caretaker carried him down the stairs, placed him in the casket that he was buried in. And that is when I got an image of his heart. I saw his heart pulsating in and out, in and out, almost exaggerated, like it would be in a cartoon. This is when I knew the Spirit was telling me this is how he ultimately passed away, was from the heart attack, which is what happened when he was on the ECMO machine. His heart finally gave out, and that's why I was able to feel the heart attack that he had. Guys, I did have the heart attack. I thought I was dying. Everything inside of me knew that I wouldn't make it. So I felt exactly what he was going through. So I heard Spirit tell me when I saw the heart go up and down. I heard Spirit tell me that he's in the healing center for matters of the heart, right? And then I got an image that God shared with me directly. That crystalline light that flows from the back of us and it comes out of our heart center. Well, if your heart center is closed, you won't be able to go into the gates of heaven, because in heaven, that is how we communicate. We communicate with the light that is pouring out of our heart. So because he died of a heart attack, and he buried a lot of things here on the earth school. He buried it, with just making jokes or his personality, but I think he had a lot of unsettled pain in his heart that he never dealt with, and it was blocked. And that's why I didn't see him going directly to the gates of heaven, because he wouldn't be able to communicate. That light would spit him out, because you have to be able to exchange light. That's how we communicate in the heavenly realm. So because he was blocked off, he was still in heaven. But the gates of heaven are here, and the healing center is way, 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 way down here. And that became very clear to me when I saw him rising higher, 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 higher. That how far away the healing center was, because if you don't have that light flowing through you, it could actually injure you. It could really hurt you. So God has a contingency plan. It's beautiful. So for those of us who are blocked off in the heart area, you have to have that cleansed and cleared before you can enter into the gates. And that was the whole point of this. And that is what God wanted to share with me. And I believe that this transmission that I had with my brother was so that I could get this information and share it with you all and share it with humanity. That our heart must be clear before we come in through the gates of heaven. Okay? That was very, very important. One thing I want to point out, how do we end up in the healing center? Unforgiveness. When you have unforgiveness in your heart, that light blue crystalline light, it cannot shine through. So guys, forgive. Forgiveness is for you so that you can move forward and have a great life. Remember that. Forgiveness is the key. It is the key to love, divine love. Another thing is when we mistreat people, we have no regard for people's feelings. That could block our heart off, and we won't be able to communicate with that crystalline light again. You could end up in the healing center. Doesn't matter how much you've given to a church. Doesn't matter how many charities you have donated to. It doesn't matter. If you're blocked off here and that crystalline light cannot shine through, you are not pass and go. You are not collecting $200. You will go to the healing center until that is cleared out of your heart, okay? So we can't lack love and empathy. You need to be able to empathize and see how it feels, with the shoe on the other foot. We need to have some sort of compassion and empathy in our soul essence, right? So that way we don't have to go to the healing center. So he was in the healing center, and I've never heard about the healing center of heaven, but it is a real place, guys. Okay. So we've gotten that out of the way. So the next thing I want to talk about is this went on for 20 minutes. He didn't really even talk to me. Like a lot of my transmissions, we're talking. I'm getting so much information. Well, we have had multiple conversations before, and I've been kind of guiding his soul to get to this point, to get him to where he needed to be. And he is now, which is great. But I think the main point of this was he wanted me to know that he's out of the healing center, because I saw an image of him with a complete hole cut out of his heart area, and there was no light shining through. That's the first image that Spirit showed me. It was a hole, right? So that showed me, they wanted me to know, hey, he's clear in his heart area. And then all of a sudden I saw that light blue light, crystalline light, start flowing through the heart center. And ultimately it was the light. It was the love of God through that light that propelled him up. It was the love of God, which is the light, propelling him higher, higher, higher. He was raising. I saw him for 20 minutes straight going higher, 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 higher. And then when he got to the gates, did you hear me say on the tape? I said, the gates are smaller than what I thought they would be. They were. And there are real gates in heaven. And it was small. There was no one to open the door. There was no gatekeeper. There was nothing of that. He already had the light of God propelling him up. So when he got to the gates, he floated past the gates. He was already on the other side. And I saw a bunch of spirits just go in, kind of move in to greet him. And he was actually quite composed, because he was already in heaven, right? He was just in the healing center in heaven, but he was already in heaven. So I think that's why he was quite composed. He was just shaking hands. I saw him shaking a lot of hands, And then I saw just, all the spirit people just kind of almost usher him in deeper, deeper, deeper into heaven. And then he faded away and I couldn't see him anymore. And I was like, they took him. He's gotten to exactly where he needed to be. And I've been talking to him for the past, almost 2 years. And it's just really goes to show you that it's not just here on the earth school that our soul has a journey. Even in the spirit world, we can get lost in spirit world. We can be in the healing center. We could be outside of heaven completely. We could be lost in dark places, And I'm happy that his spirit knew that, hey, he can go to God, because God forbid, what if he would have, had so much going on in the heart area that he felt really bad about it. He could have been in dark places. Guys, that's how we end up in dark places. It's not hell. We are creating all of this. The universe is mental, right? You could end up in a dark place when you don't forgive yourself. Very important. You have to forgive yourself, okay? Our souls, other souls, they forgive us all the time. It's the unforgiveness we feel about ourselves that can lead us to very, very dark places. So I'm happy that his soul knew. He knew where he needed to go. And he went straight to heaven. He just was not allowed to go through the gates because he wasn't clear in the heart. He wasn't in any love condition in the heart to actually go through the gates. So it's such a beautiful image. And I'm just actually humbled that God showed this to me, so that's awesome. The other thing I want to say is, he said a few things to me. He said that he has completeness and love. And I really love that because you are only complete in source energy God. That is the only way you can be complete. And that is how I knew he got to where he needed to be, because he said completeness. There is no completeness without the love of the divine. Okay, I love that. But also he goes on to say that he didn't think that it could happen for him. He had doubts. He had doubts. If you're not clear here in the heart, and that might be another reason why he was in the healing center in heaven. He had doubts in the heart area that he would be accepted, that he would be loved, that he would be good enough and worthy enough. But you are, brother. You are, and you always have been. Another thing he said that I love, he said, I'm encased in love. When you are encased, you're wrapped. You're swaddled. You have that blanket of love on you that I spoke about when I did my interview of the near-death experience, where I felt like I was covered with a blanket of love. He said he was encased in love. It's like a baby being swaddled in a blanket, and the blanket is love. That's what he's saying here. He was encased in love. His whole being, his whole essence, his whole soul was encased in love. I love that. That's the love of the divine. And then he said, I'm fueled by love. And I love that because when I saw that crystalline light start to flow through, that light is what propelled him up to the heavens. So he is fueled by love. I saw it. It was the love that carried him up, right? His spirit body was the vehicle, but it was the love that was the gasoline that was carrying him up. That's very, very beautiful. The other thing I want to point out is when I was having that heart attack, and I'm going to say I had the heart attack because, guys, I did have the heart attack. I had it. I felt it. I had it. Another thing is my right foot was hurting at the same time. And I don't think I played that part on the tape. I may or may have not played it, but my right foot started hurting as well. So, because I asked him, let me know when you're here. And that's when I felt the pain in my heart and I felt the pain in my leg. And I don't think this was on the tape. I think this was at the beginning. It was just way too long to play the whole thing. But my sister later told me that his right foot got ran over. And he had one of his toes amputated, which was on his right foot, due to complications with diabetes. So it kind of makes sense why my right foot was hurting. So I was able to feel the pains from his physical body. And it also made me think that we do carry those pains into the spirit realm, which is why he was in the healing center. So we do carry some of our physical attributes because the universe is mental. Your mind is connected to your soul, right? Just as much as your heart is connected to your soul and to your spirit. So we do carry pains. That's why we have healing centers in heaven. Another thing is, when I saw him rising up higher and higher into the heavenly spirit, he was wearing baggy pants. He was wearing a white t-shirt. He was wearing some Nike shoes. He was wearing like a light jacket with like black stripes down the side, and it had Jordan on it, number 23. Guys, Jordan was his favorite basketball player. He played basketball. My brother played basketball in high school, and he looked up to Jordan. So it was just beautiful to see that he was able to bring that with him. So when they say, and I always thought this too, oh, you can't bring material things to heaven. Not true, because I've seen it 2 times. I saw my other brother, he brought the football my sister placed in the casket with him. Now that football is made out of 100% love. And then I saw my brother, he loved clothes. He loved fashion. He loved these things. And people thought that he was materialistic. And even I thought he was materialistic. But guys, that's what he loved. That was part of his earth suit that he put on, right? That's part of the earthly attributes of Sylvester Golden, so that he could live out his purpose. That was one of the tools that he had to have in his toolbox in order to complete the life as Sylvester Golden. So I just find that cool that he was able to take something he loved. He loved Jordan, and he took that with him. He had a little gold chain on too. He took that with him. He loved fashion, and he took that with him. And I like that a lot. The other thing I want to point out is I got a sense that this was a karmic life for my brother. This was not a life that he necessarily needed to live. And the reason why I say that is because 2 reasons. The first reason is I'm going to tell you that we had a past life together. Yes, I do remember. We had a past life. My name was Lavinia, and I was about 36 years old when I passed away, but we lived in Rome, and he was like an orphan child that me and my husband took in. And when Spirit showed him to me at a distance, right? So I knew that he was a child under my roof and under my care, but that we were not close. We were not one in love. I should have nurtured him like he was my own, but I didn't. So that's why I saw him at a distance. But we did have a life together. And during that life, we did not get it right. We did not understand that we were one in love, because, I was supposed to be the one. I was the adult, and I was supposed to be the one to bring him in and embrace him and treat him as my own. And I did not. So in this life, he was actually my half brother. Right? So there's still a bit of what? A distance, right? So the soul will set up certain scenarios, so it'll be a little bit hard for you to accomplish that in which you have already contracted to, because we make these soul contracts with each other. So we've already contracted that we were going to come into this lifetime on even footing as brother and sister. Before, it was like an authoritative relationship. I was the mom and he was the son. So he was underneath me. But this time we were like, there's no way we're not going to be close, because we're going to be brother and sister. But here's the challenge. You're going to be much older than me. You're going to be like 13 years older than me. And, we did not do it in this lifetime, because I lived in California for about 14 years. And, we just did not, we were not able to get that close like he was to some of my other siblings, and they are closer in age. So that does make sense. But what that does is it creates karma, right? That contract that we had with each other, it has not been fulfilled, because we didn't do it when I was Lavinia, and we didn't do it in this lifetime. But guys, you don't have to wait until you die. I've already went ahead and I've cleared that contract. I have gotten rid of that contract, and I'm no longer searching to fulfill that or have that experience with this particular soul, because I understand now that we are one in love. I don't need to go and take another lifetime to understand that. And I think the reason why he's been in contact with me and I've been in contact with him throughout his passing, and I've been kind of guiding him, is because of the contract. And I think in a way I have fulfilled that contract. So I have actually dispelled that contract in spirit. So in my heart, I have dispelled it. I have went ahead and used one of the elements to actually end the contract. And you can end any contract with any of the elements: earth, fire, air, So what I did was I went ahead and wrote down what the contract was, and I burnt it. I burned every word. It's done. So anytime you want to seal something, if you're trying to manifest or if you want to clear a contract, first you have to believe it in your heart and in your spirit. You have to know that it's already done. Because if you write anything on a paper and burn it up, it's not going to work unless already in your heart you know that it's done. But you can burn it. You can bury it. You can submerge it in water, and you can release it in the air. That's why we release ashes in the wind. That's why we bury bodies in the ground. It's done. You can submerge something in water. Water will carry it down, 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 down. And so that is one of the ways that we can go ahead and clear contracts and we can manifest. So I just wanted to point that out. So our contract is over. And another thing I want to point out, even though my brother, this was a karmic life for him. And the reason why I say that is because one day I was driving in my car. I had the pleasure to see his oversoul, his higher self. I saw an image of him sitting in the heavenly realm. He was sitting in a chair that was made for a king, right? His countenance was completely different than the countenance of Sylvester Golden. Sylvester Golden was lighthearted. Sylvester Golden was playful. Sylvester Golden was, just had a childlike energy and spirit about him. But when I saw his oversoul, it was the completeness of his soul, the part of his soul that is connected to the divine and connected to our, soul family and soul groups. That is the oversoul and his higher self. He was sitting in that chair. He was so composed. He had a quiet wisdom about him. He was a man of lawfulness. I could see that he was balanced. He was able to see both sides of the coin, and he was able to make an informed decision. There was a lot of wisdom in that man that I saw sitting in that chair. A lot of growth, a lot of strength, and divine prosperity, right? So it was complete opposite of the life of Sylvester Golden, which was a karmic life for him. But that's why I said your higher self is always in the heavenly realm. We've already been through all of this. We're living these lives at the same time. And that's why I was able to tap into his oversoul, into his higher self. And I could see that he's already been through all of this. That was the completeness also he was talking about. That was the summation of all of his lives. In that countenance he had in his soul and in his spirit, that was a man who has been through some things and that has learned and that has grown from it all. That was beautiful to see. It was a powerful presence. It's like you're walking and meeting someone of royalty. You know what I mean? That's the image I got in my head. That's what it felt like. So my brother had all these big ideas here on the earth plane. And we would almost be like, that's ridiculous. That's never going to happen. These ideals, these thoughts, they are too big. Our minds couldn't conceive it. But when I saw his oversoul, when I saw his higher self, I understood now why he was thinking all of those big thoughts, because I saw that he had already done it. He'd already been there. He was sitting in a chair like a king, like he was the divine. And that's why, he didn't know it, but he was tapping into his higher self. He already knew he could do it. No matter how ridiculous it sounded to our earth minds, he's like, I've already done this before. And I was able to see that in his countenance. I was able to see that, get a glimpse into that when I saw his higher self. And it made sense. It made sense of why he had all these grandiose ideas, because he has already done it. He's already done it. And that was very beautiful to see. Guys, let me check my notes. The video's going long, but and this is my brother, so I really didn't want to miss anything. I think I've said it. I think that I have said it. I think I've said it. Yeah. So the only thing I want to say is, Booty, I love you. I love you. And I thank you from the bottom of my soul for the communications that we've had together over these past almost 2 years. Thank you for believing in me and trusting in me to help you on your spirit journey. You gave me the confidence to even be sitting here right now. You gave that to me. You gave that to me. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm always going to be there for you. Although we no longer have a soul contract together, I'm always going to be there for you. Anything you need, you can always count on me. And I know that I can count on you. Okay? Guys, that is it. That was the story of my brother Sylvester Golden and, the Healing Center of Heaven, guys. So that is the contingency plan that God has for our soul. Let's think about it logically, guys. You think God would send all of us out and then if everybody's tempted by this, if they say, okay, you're going to go to hell, if you're tempted by the devil, what if God loses all the souls to the devil? Have you ever thought about that? Then that means that God would no longer exist because we are God and God is us. So we are always connected to the divine tree of wisdom. It is the tree of life. We are rooted in that tree, in the spirit realm. So no matter what happens, no matter that he's playing the role of Sylvester Golden, and no matter what happens in his life, he's still okay. I saw his higher self. He's already done all this before. This was not even a life he needed to take. This was a karmic life. He was paying off some karmic debts. And one of those reasons why he was here is because I asked him to be here so that I could possibly fix what I didn't do when we lived the life when I was Lavinia and he was, someone that I took care of in my house. So it just goes to show you the journey of the soul. It is a never-ending journey, guys. And I just don't want to make this too long, but I just wanted to point that out, that not every life we live for ourselves. Sometimes we could come into existence to help somebody else on their journey. And he was trying to help me complete something that I wanted to do. And we weren't able to do it, and that's fine. And that's totally fine, but the contract is over. So he can be at peace, and he can continue on, with the rest of his journey. And I'm going to be in contact with him. I'm going to be keeping up with him. And I'm sure he'll be keeping up with me too. So I hope this resonated with any of you beautiful people out there. Guys, please subscribe to the channel, like and share and all of that good stuff. Guys, I have a divine vision. I know exactly where I'm going. We need millions of subscribers so we can take this message global, that we are all one in love. Yes, guys. See ya.